Welcome back to StitchPhiles.
With a PH. StitchPhiles.
Oh, yeah.
It's not StitchFiles. It's PHILES.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
You're going to take... This is the point, like, we're how many episodes in and you want to explain that? I think we already did that. Like
We probably
1.
did, but...
You just like to refresh people? If you're new, that's the reasoning for the name.
If you are new. If you're not new, then just rehash it. I think too, it's for me to reconfirm it for me.
Okay. Whatever confirmation you need.
I need a lot of confirmation.
Yeah, so welcome back. And a big thank you to everybody who left comments on the last video.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah.
And somebody suggested Thomasina. That'd be great.
Oh, they did?
Yeah.
Oh, we'll definitely get Tom on here.
Oh, you say thanks for the comments, but you don't read them.
Oh, no, I do.
Busted.
No, I do read them.
But you didn't.
No, I didn't see that one.
Well, it's on there.
The last time I looked, there were only 2 comments. How many are there now?
6, 8, something like that.
Okay. Well, I only saw 2.
Okay.
And one comment was, they wish we do it every week.
Oh, yeah, that ain't happening.
No, we don't have time.
Pump the brakes on that.
I wish we could.
Yeah, and it's also, it's hard to come up with different topics and
Well,
keep it
things-
entertaining as well.
Yeah, we want to make sure it's topics that benefit you. We don't.
Although
want
half of the conversation is complete.
us are talking to her, hear our heads rattle.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've thought about Tom Messina. Tom's such a sweetheart of a guy.
He's just very busy.
He's extremely busy because he does tech work and sales.
Mm-hmm.
So, but we could probably get him when he's on his way somewhere in his car.
Yeah, that'd work.
You think the audio would be okay?
It's just a telephone call. Gary's was fine.
but he's on his
Bluetooth.
hands-free thing.
It should be fine.
Yeah,
And if it ain't, we scrap it. See if he'll do it.
yeah, he will.
Yeah, you're his boss, so you can tell him.
Well, I don't like to tell people what to do.
Shocking.
It's kind of what bosses do, though, isn't it?
They really shouldn't. Unless you're out of line.
So, I'm a disciplinarian, not a boss.
Yeah. I mean, if you have good employees, you really shouldn't
That's
have that much
I
interaction
agree
with
with
them.
that.
Except
I go
positive.
along with that.
Yeah.
That's
If I were a manager or a boss,
well, what would
that's
be
the way I
your
would- that's the way I would do it.
your
I would do
management?
it just like you do.
What's your management philosophy? Have you learned anything from your dad?
Yeah.
And by the way, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Tomorrow, no,
Sunday. But this will come out. It will have already happened. So
yeah, I hope you had a
belated.
happy Father's
Yep.
Day, belated Father's Day. So,
Happy Father's Day to you, being my
thank you.
father,
Thank you. Happy Father's Day to you. You're a father to my grandchildren,
allegedly.
2 of them.
Maury Povich is still running our DNA tests.
Is he?
Isn't he the one that does the...
Yeah, because he
that's
did.
right.
Was it him?
I think so. Yeah, pretty sure. He says
I
you're
get
not the
him
father.
and the guy that just died, Jerry Springer.
Oh.
He did that too.
Yeah, maybe. He just had a lot of people fight each other.
Well, that was the best part.
Yeah.
I would like Maury Povich's show better if people fought. Actually physically fought like they did on Jerry Springer.
I don't know if it's a show anymore.
I don't think it is.
Yeah.
Do you know that Jerry Springer was the mayor of Cincinnati?
Mm-hmm. What's that tell you about Cincinnati? No offense to anybody in Cincinnati.
People in Cincinnati listening, we love your baseball team.
Absolutely.
Was a big Cincinnati fan.
Shout out to Will Myers. Hometown
That's
hero.
right. That's right. He's a hometown boy. Plays for the
He's
Cincinnati
not
Red
a friend
Sox.
of mine. Associate. I know him, but not a friend.
You know him through free baseball tickets.
Get him where you can. I'll make friends with anybody if you can get me in a ball game.
Free ball game tickets. Yeah, we're best buds. I don't care if you're an axe murderer.
Yeah, that's a fact. Speaking
Anyway.
of free ball tickets, I gotta go pick some up.
Yeah, we've done a lot of minor league
Local baseball.
baseball.
I
here
love it
lately.
so much.
I do too. It's fun.
If I had just unlimited resources, I would have season tickets.
Would you if you had the money and the time and no obligations? That's never going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to travel around the country to Major League Baseball parks?
For sure.
Would you?
Me and an old friend of mine, that was one of our goals. We used to always talk about going to as many baseball fields as we can.
I've been to quite a few.
Yeah,
I think I've been to. No, I don't think I've been to half of them. almost half of them.
A lot of them aren't there anymore. Like when I was a kid, that
yeah.
are gone.
Yeah.
I've been to every Braves stadium that has been in existence.
Yes. Thanks to
shout out to them.
Yeah, thanks to me and your mother. We took you and your brother when you were little. Some of the best trips we ever took, some of the most fun we ever had, was doing those Atlanta Braves trips. I don't know if your mom enjoyed it as much as we did, but
yeah, I feel like we're so off topic anymore.
it's okay.
Yeah,
People understand. If you listen to us,
you know how it's going to go.
You know how it's going to go, and we'll get on it here in a minute.
But I think Cannon really enjoys baseball games.
Oh, I love when the grandkids go.
Yeah, she just goes to go and eat a hot dog.
She goes to aggravate me.
Yeah, but
that's what she does.
Yeah, a lot of people think baseball is extremely boring. They don't like to watch it, but it's probably, well, no doubt it is my favorite sport to watch.
I think baseball and hockey are the two sports that need to be watched in person. Because when you watch baseball, especially on both of the sports, because I'll tell you why. On TV, when they focus on baseball, it's just the batter and the pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
I like seeing
you need to
what's
see
going on
how each outfielder's
right.
reading
and
the
when
hitter.
somebody hits the ball, they only focus on where the ball's going and whether or not the guy catches it or doesn't
you don't
catch
see
it
everything
or
going on in the infield to possibly get out a runner that was on or whatever. Yeah,
that's why I think baseball is much better appreciated if you're a fan of the game. A lot of people just go eat hot dogs and drink beer.
It amazes me, the games I've been to, the people that just don't pay attention. That's why they have nets up.
No
in the
kidding.
face.
Yeah. But I mean, I know, you love it. And
I love it.
You watch it. I watch it. Cannon understands the game.
Mm-hmm.
Your father-in-law always goes with us.
Yeah, Lou loves baseball.
He loves it.
We had a harrowing trip to Pittsburgh.
My brother-in-law.
Yeah.
Well, he's your uncle.
That's how that works.
Yeah, he's your uncle. He's my wife's, your mom's, sister's husband. Did I say that right? Something about that doesn't sound right.
Like you just said.
Anyway, there's a crew.
We are from West Virginia, and there's a lot of incest going on in our family.
We have a crew. We have a crew that goes to every game. My dear old dad loved it when he was around. But man, some of the most fun I have is going to those games and hanging out with everybody.
I guarantee that's. Yeah,
it is. I jump at the chance to go. It's and we got an awesome baseball stadium here
and a great team,
a good team, Atlantic League team.
Yes,
young kids trying to make it.
Some have already made it.
The baseball's good. I mean, the past few games we went to, I just wish they drew more people than what they do because they have good talent. It's good baseball. These teams, it just. I don't want to say anything against. I know we're way off topic, but
you said it was okay.
I don't care. I don't care. You can turn it off if you don't want to listen.
Ooh, shots fired.
And I don't mean that in a mean way, but we're going to get on. We're going to get on to the embroidery stuff here in a minute. But Major League Baseball, to me, because of all the money, has lost some of its luster.
Mm-hmm. Like all professional sports.
Yes. And look, those guys make a lot of money. I don't begrudge anybody. Make all you can. Somebody's willing to pay you millions of dollars to catch a baseball or hit a ball or whatever. Man, that's cool. But something gets lost when you start playing the game for money. I mean, and I'm not saying these guys don't hustle, but
yeah,
they're almost like hired hands. You see these young guys. It just seems like we sat behind the dugout. The past couple games we've been to, right behind the dugout of the opposing team. But to hear them talk to each other and to chatter, and to me, it's, I don't know, it's what makes sports.
Yeah.
You're playing for each other, you're playing for your city. I just don't know if that goes on in the majors or not.
Man, I feel like the majority of players love it. Like I kind of disagree with you a little bit. I mean, I'm sure they're, trying to get a bigger contract, this, that, and the other. But, you think about Freddie Freeman, for him to leave Atlanta, he was crushed. And they kind of did him dirty.
I was crushed.
Oh, yeah, me too. I won't say I cried, but I won't say I didn't cry.
I'm not going to say they did him dirty because I don't really know what all went on.
Well,
there's
alleged things
there's two stories.
Yeah.
And of course, both sides sides think that they're right. And I don't know. I wasn't there to listen to what went on. And we'll never know. We'll probably never know exactly what went on.
Yeah.
But anyway, I
And then
wish
for him to
well.
go to the team he went to,
Yeah.
absolutely destroyed me.
Well.
Because I hate him.
Anyway, we need to talk about embroidery.
Yeah. So there's
there's
your baseball talk.
embroidery on baseball jerseys.
There are.
Yeah.
And their hats.
We got to tell this little story. The team that we follow, our minor league team here in High Point, North Carolina, which also is the world headquarters for Barrett. If anybody didn't know that, I'll throw that out there too. All the magic happens.
You consider us High Point?
Office. No, this is ours.
We don't
It's
want
not
that
even
part.
same county,
No,
but we're
it's
like
not.
a mile from
The county line.
When I go to the
City line.
baseball game, I'm a High Pointer.
Yeah.
Your kids are born in High Point.
Yeah. Okay.
That's just because there wasn't a
That's not-
hospital in
yeah.
Archdale.
Well, there's
the
a veterinary
clinic was
Yeah,
closed
that's right.
when Ashley went into labor.
Taxidermist.
But I forgot my train of thought. Now you messed me up. Our team is called the High Point Rockers, like a rocking chair, and they named the team because High Point is supposed to be the furniture capital of the world. Now I don't think they make a dang thing here as far as furniture goes anymore.
Not anymore.
But they used to be tons and tons and tons of furniture jobs here, and they all went to China. They all went
China.
offshore. They all went offshore, which sucks, but it is what it is. So the team that they played was Frederick,
Maryland.
Frederick, Maryland,
Mhm.
and they're a new team this year.
They have a name, but it's not being released for
So these guys,
middle of
their-
this,
their-
which should be
their-
now.
Their baseball hat had a
Big
question mark
Yeah.
on it, and their jerseys had random question marks in different colors plastered all over.
It was pretty cool.
them. I don't know. I thought it was kind of goofy. I mean, here you are in the middle of the season, and you don't have a name for your baseball team yet.
They do.
But why don't they?
I don't know. I don't know what they're waiting on.
Yeah, I guess it's some kind of promotional thing.
It was like they had a vote, like you could write in team names. That's how the Rockers came to be.
Yeah,
But they announced it before the season started, which is the appropriate way to do that.
I guess that's what's bothered me about it is they should have. I mean, those guys got to feel goofy. They look like the Riddler.
That's what I said. I thought it was kind of like I would like to have one of those hats.
Well, I That reminded me. I thought about going online and see if I could get one of those hats.
I'll probably auction them. They do a lot of that stuff.
Yeah.
Those, and they do a lot of random jerseys, like High Point. It seems like every week they'll have a jersey that's, this is.
Did you like what they had on?
I couldn't tell what it
Wednesday?
was.
It was for Flag Day, wasn't it?
I thought so. It had a flag on it, but it was camo.
Yeah. It was a one-off. I've never seen them wear
Yeah,
it
and then they
before.
auction those off.
I love their blue jersey and the white pants. That's my favorite uniform of
Yeah.
theirs. I love it. I with the rockers on front. I think they got one of the best looking uniforms in that league. I
It's
do.
sharp. They got a cool logo. I wasn't a huge fan of the name, but it's like
No,
that's what
I
they
mean
are.
it's who they are.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway, baseball talk's over. Thanks for tuning in. I will put a marker in the YouTube video. That way you can skip ahead.
Yeah, if you don't want to hear the baseball
I'm not
talk.
doing that. I'm just kidding. It's more work that I have to do.
Okay. Well,
At
we're 13 minutes,
Yeah.
14 minutes in.
yeah.
That's crazy. We need to get on topic here.
No, we're good. All right, so we're going to talk about your spare parts, bud.
Mm-hmm.
You know what that's from?
Letterkenny.
Yeah,
Bod. Hey, Bod.
The whole time I was thinking about this, I thought about that. Your spare parts aren't you, bud? Which
yeah.
that meaning is you're not worth anything because
Yeah.
spare parts don't get used. However, in this instance, we have a list, and I'll put these somewhere where you could download them.
Yeah, we got one for the.
Mark 5s and Mark 8.
Yeah, they're
trimmers.
both for the S sewing head, which is the newest and latest sewing head. But one is for the Mark V trimmers, which is the old trimmers, which are still on
the XL.
XL machine. Everything else has the Mark 8 trimmers. But as far as the sewing head itself goes, these parts are all the same.
Yeah, and there's
So,
only a few things different between them.
yeah, not
which
many-
I
not
should've
many at
marked
all.
mine, I didn't.
But what we're going to tell you off this list, this is the recommended parts list per sewing head. So when we say we recommend to have this many in stock, we're talking about one sewing head. So if you have a 6 head, then obviously you would multiply what we're telling you by 6 or 4 or however many heads you have. But anyway, we just thought we would, because we get asked this from time to time, well, what parts should I keep? And a few years ago, I had gotten with Earl Hickman in Cleveland. He's our general manager of tech support. And he got into CRM and looked to see what were the most ordered parts as far as spare parts go. So we're going to give them to you. So, what is the first one, Brandon?
That would be the hook.
Yeah, the sewing hook. Which you should keep a spare sewing hook, all the time, because you never know when those things are going to go bad.
You good? Is your gadget watch going
off? My wife sent a picture of your kids and Kyle's kids at the pool.
Oh, I didn't know they went to the pool.
They went to Kentwood Pool.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway, you should keep a sewing hook. You can polish a sewing hook, but if a needle hits it, if that hook gets the least bit of damage on it, or like scarring, a burr on it, it'll cause a lot of thread breaks. If you oil your hook regularly, that's the other thing too. If the basket and the actual hook, the outer hook, if you don't oil that, it's going to seize, and then you're going to change the hook whether you like to or not.
Yeah.
Probably with some other parts, but that's why it's so very important to oil that sewing hook as per manufacturer's recommendations, which we say every 4 hours of sewing
runtime.
Runtime. So that's the main thing. You want to keep the sewing hook. If you got a 6-head machine, 8-head machine, you want to keep a few in case they go bad. I mean, once a year you're probably going to change your sewing hooks depending on how much you run the machine. But keep some spare hooks.
Yeah, and I think most of these parts actually all of them are relatively inexpensive. So, that's the cost of doing business. Just keep that stuff on hand.
Exactly. And because at some point in time, you're going to use them.
Yeah.
So it's not like you buy them and put them up and never use them. They're going to have to be replaced at some point in time.
All right, next is the bobbin case.
Yes, you do want to keep spare bobbin cases. Now, I think we've talked about this before. You can clean the bobbin case. We've got videos that show you how to adjust your bobbin tension, and you would use the bobbin case to do that. But the bobbin cases have a little spring on them, and I always cleaned them with the business card. I clean under that spring, but at some point in time, it is a spring that puts tension on the thread. It's going to wear out at some point. So, if it gets to where you can't adjust that bobbin case and you can't adjust your tension, just toss that thing.
Yeah.
I think they're like $10 or $12 for a bobbin case, and sometimes you can get them like a pack of 6 for $40, $45. But we sell them. Madeira sells them. Some of these parts you have to get from us as far as the sewing hook goes. Sewing hooks are common to all machines. Pretty much everybody uses. We're using a Coban sewing hook now. Toa makes a sewing hook. The same people that make bobbin cases. There's several of them out there. They've been out there for a long, long time. So, you don't want to cut corners on your sewing hook for sure, or your bobbin cases. This next one is check spring, and I don't know what this check spring's for. I should have looked up that part number.
I did look it up, but I don't
remember what it was.
I don't remember what it's for.
Okay.
Shame on us.
I'm guessing it's the check spring. Is it the check spring for the tensioner?
That's what I think.
We should know this. We weren't very prepared. Oh, it is. I know it is. GK2402. Yes. Check spring. It says keep 5 check springs. Yeah, that's the check springs that go on your tensioners. Now, you may have. I I think we had some old tensioners on some Mark 8 machines. I'm pretty sure we
Yeah,
did.
yeah.
Make sure, find out if you've got the old style, or I don't say old, the previous style tensioners or the new style tensioners, because that check spring is different.
Yeah.
And this one, the one we have here,
Yeah, this part number
this
is
part
for
number,
the new one.
yeah, is new. So there's 2 part numbers there. So so you want to have a check spring in case it gets bent. Usually that's about it. You know, if it gets bent, well, it's tension too.
Yeah,
so if it's not doing its job, then you're going to get false thread breaks and false bobbin. What am I trying to say?
Like a bobbin break. Is that what you're saying?
Out of bobbin.
Yeah, the error code.
Yeah, error on the automat. So, the next one is presser foot. Japan calls that a cloth holder, and that's really what it does. It holds the cloth down while the needle goes into it, but we call it a presser foot.
Yeah, it's every time I go into the parts book to answer a question for somebody and I see cloth holder, I have to say that's a presser foot.
Well, and that's where some of these parts, the Japanese call them one thing.
There are several.
And I've got to, every now and then I'm like, what are they talking about? Then I understand, but yeah, the cloth holder. For the SH sewing head, it says here you need to have 2 per sewing head. They don't only wear out. They don't wear out. The only time you would need a presser foot is if you bang it into a hoop. Now, I will tell you, most of the time, not always, you can take a pair of needle nose pliers and you can bend that presser foot back into position. And it does not hurt it. That presser foot's very easy to change. It comes out on the bottom there.
Yeah, it's simple.
It's not that hard to do, but you need to keep a few presser feet. The other thing is the take-up lever assembly. We recommend 5 of those per head. And your take-up levers, normally they can go bad. If you don't oil them, they sit back there on that shaft. And if you don't oil them and they seize up, that's not a good thing. So, a lot of these issues can be alleviated if you oil your machine.
Do your routine maintenance.
Maintenance. But in the event you don't, or, something just goes bad, you need to keep a few take-up levers. And again, we recommend 5 per head. The next one is the needle bar assembly. We recommend 1 per head. Again, as long as you keep that thing oiled, man, they just don't wear out, especially on these new sewing heads. They went to a different metal a few years ago that's tougher. The tolerances are tighter, but that also means that you need to be sure to keep those needle bars oiled. It's very, very important. We even cut out holes on the new ones on the faceplate where you can just oil those really, really quickly. I'll do it while the machine's running. I'm not telling you to do that. But, while
do it at your own risk.
14 needles are sitting there, it's easy to go ahead and squirt a little oil back in there. But you want to make sure that little pad is moist. I'll put my finger back there and make sure there's oil on it, because if it's dry, you do not want that needle. Yeah, you don't want that needle bar to seize in that head. That's a pain in the butt. I've been through that.
That's a bigger problem.
Yeah, you got to take the head off and get that thing out. It's not the end of the world. It's not that difficult. It's just aggravating. It just there's no reason for it to happen if you oil your machine.
O-rings.
Yeah, we got small O-rings, large O-rings. There's an O-ring that goes right there above your presser, under the presser foot, and there's one that goes in the top, or the top of the needle bar. Yes, up at the top of the needle bar. You'll want to make sure that you have those on hand, especially that bottom one that goes above your presser foot. And again, as long as you keep things oiled. But I think after time, those O-rings will deteriorate after, we're talking a lot of years. I remember the old machines, especially the old Y heads, they were really bad if you didn't have those red caps and O-rings.
Yeah, the little red cap.
The red caps everybody talks about. Those were notorious for failing. And I think the biggest reason was oil or grease never got up in there. So So anyway, we recommend 10 of the small O-rings and 10 of the large O-rings.
Here's where
for
things
sewing
differ. Because on the Mark 8, there's a spacer and not on the Mark 5s.
Yes, there is a spacer in there.
Yeah, which is the next.
Well, that little spacer is a little plastic spacer that goes, you know where your needle clamp is? Your needle clamp is. There's an O-ring above it, and there's a plastic spacer. And that has to be in there, or your needle bar,
There'll be
depth
gap in
is
between
going
it.
to be.
That's not on the Mark 5s, that's on the Mark 8s.
Right, exactly. So we recommend 5 of those per head. Then your needle clamp, which goes on to the bottom of your needle bar driver. I've never seen, and again, unless you bang it into something, it's probably not going to hurt anything. But I've seen people lose those screws. If you screw that,
if you back it out
too far, and it's a tiny little screw. If anything, I would keep that screw in stock in case. You don't need to screw that screw out.
Not very far
to change the needle.
Yeah.
But I've seen people, especially if you're new, they'll back that thing out, and it'll fall down. It's a tiny little screw. It's just a good idea to keep some of those. And that clamp will fall out. You'll think it's the end of the world. That stuff starts falling out. It's really easy to put back up in there. But still, if you don't know, you don't know. But we recommend keeping those in stock too. So the clamp and the screw. And we say 10 of those screws. That's a good idea. One needle bar driver per head. Again, as long as you keep the machine oiled and you don't bang it into a hoop or crash your machine, you're not going to need that needle bar driver. That needle bar driver has a weak spot in it, which is designed to break.
It's supposed to break.
If you crash it into a hoop, and that protects the more expensive stuff in the top part of that sewing head.
Yeah.
So, for the longest time, we do trade shows, and I asked Earl one time, and Earl and I have done hundreds of trade shows together. And I asked him a couple years ago, I said, "Hey, Earl," I said, he always brings some spare parts to the show. I said, do you keep a needle bar driver? He said, "No, I don't."
The guy who put the list together.
And he laughed. He said, "I probably ought to bring a couple of
Might
those
not
with
be a
me."
bad
I said,
idea.
"It's not a bad idea." I'm
going to ask him next time I see him.
If we were to crash a machine, I've never crashed. I have crashed a machine. I'll be the first to tell you that.
You've never done it at a trade show?
I've never done it at a trade show. However, I did Atlantic City a few years ago on the two head. We had a two head there, and the bobbin cover, the cover, they call it the cylinder bed cover, which is where your change bobbin was left open. Somebody changed the bobbin, didn't shut it. A sweatshirt got sucked up in it.
Oh,
and
man.
the machine came to a dead stop, and I'm like, "Oh, what's going on?" So I go over to it, and it's all sucked up in there. Only thing I had to do was pull it back out of there and retime the machine, so that wasn't too bad. But there was no tech there. I was the tech, so you know what that means. This probably ain't going to get fixed, but it did. I had to call Earl. I couldn't remember what the timing mark was on the.
Was that 2 years ago, Atlantic City?
No, you hadn't started here.
Okay.
Yeah, you weren't here. It's a couple years before you started, because it was only me and Murph and Vinny, just the three of us.
Oof.
Earl wasn't there. We had no tech. Two head, sitting there, broken.
Mm.
But
Yeah, I would have panicked. At least it wasn't a big deal. Like,
no. But you always worry about. You worry about somebody, and it makes me nervous when people come up to the machine and start pushing buttons.
yeah.
And I know most people who do that are experienced embroiderers. I don't care if they come up and fix a thread break or whatever. I'm fine with that if you're a Baird customer and you know what to do. But I've seen people come up and start messing around with that automat while it's sewing, and although it's not going to move off or whatever, if the machine stopped, a lot of times this makes me nervous for sure. if the machine is stopped, like we're at a show, we're all very busy, and sometimes when something's finished sewing, we can't, we go to frame it, put another garment on or a cap, and somebody will grab us. Hey, can you? Tell me about
and
this
they just hit start.
yeah, and it's like, oh, did they do a perimeter trace?
Yeah.
Because if I take it off and go hoop it up and put it back on there immediately, I will just hit start.
Mm-hmm.
But if I see the machine sitting there finished, or the garment's not on there, and I look over and maybe you're holding a hoop because you were in the middle of hooping and somebody asked you a question, I'm not just going to go back over there and throw it on and hit the button because I don't know what you did. You may have shown somebody something on the machine.
Yeah, I trace it. Even if I did it, I trace it every time.
At a show, it is not a bad idea.
Yeah, because I mean,
I don't. I normally don't, unless I'm suspicious that somebody has messed with the machine.
You're suspicious of everybody.
I'm suspicious. I have a suspicious mind.
But I mean, you got to think too that those machines are there to run. So if something catastrophic happens, you're kind of dead in the water.
Yeah, catastrophic. Exactly. I mean, man, I don't want to jinx myself. We've been very lucky over the years, which says a lot about our machines.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, these machines, they come out of the crate, we set them up. A lot of times, you and I have done shows, we just roll them out of the trailer.
Yeah, that's Charlotte every time.
In Charlotte, it's you and me.
Yeah.
I mean, I know enough. I know enough to be dangerous. I'm not a technician. I carry some basic tools with me, things that I know. I can set the hook timing. I can do some minor repairs to it, but I'm not going to tear that head apart and fix it. As far as electronics go, I don't have a freaking clue. Don't ask me. It's a bunch of wires. That's all I know. When it comes to boards and all that stuff. But I have seen over the years some of our competitors. They roll a machine out that walk of shame where you got to take the machine off the floor because it's not running, and I don't wish that on anybody.
No,
I truly don't. I don't. That's, you get nowhere wishing bad things upon people. But
it happens.
I mean, I remember Bob and Show a few years ago. We had a 20-head machine, a 20-head arm style machine, which Japan sent over here. And that machine, we were having a hard time getting it to sew. And I don't know why they made a 20-head arm style machine. I know. And
they sent it to you, so they didn't have it.
Yeah, somebody above me wanted to sew caps on a 20-head machine. And we're all looking at each other like, that is literally impossible.
Yeah.
On a 20-head arm type machine. Think about that.
I don't want to think about that.
Pile up 20
hats,
20 drivers, put them in a box, along with 20 cap frames, and pick it up.
Yeah, that's nuts.
And ask that machine to sew a 0.5 millimeter stitch.
Yeah,
it couldn't do it. I'll just be honest, it couldn't do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't imagine that it would.
And we knew it couldn't do it, but somebody wanted it done. But it wasn't done.
Yeah,
Gary McGuire, who's now the technician in Texas. Gary was in on that deal, and he looked at me. He said, "Are you responsible for this?" I was like, "Nope, no, sir." Anyway, that's years ago. I was at the Bobbin Show. That was back in 98, 99, something like that. Heck, you probably threaded that machine.
I guarantee I did.
Yeah. So, anyway. Yeah, that was a nightmare, and we all knew it wouldn't work. But our one of our bosses was like, "Yeah, we're gonna make this work. We're gonna show everybody how this can be done." It wasn't done.
Yeah, that's a told you so.
When they
moment.
picked that machine up, I'll tell you how long that machine was. When they picked it up on one with the forklift, that machine looked like a banana, and I'm not lying to you. I was afraid that the screws were gonna pop out of the tabletops.
Yeah,
I like beer. I turned. I don't know what they were thinking.
Somebody wasn't.
But back then they were stepper motor machines, which are very strong. But can you imagine the kind of motors it would take to turn 20 of those?
Yeah, that's crazy. That's the last time that ever happened.
Yeah, that ain't happening.
Yeah. Let's see. Back to
the needle bar driver spring. There's a little spring that goes in there.
Yeah, that's where we stopped at.
And when the machine changes colors, that spring keeps tension on it, and when it gets released, it just pulls it out of the way. You keep one of those. Because if you change your needle bar driver, you're probably going to put a new spring on it. The upper and lower shim rings, I'm not sure what that is.
It shims something.
Yeah, it does shim something.
Yeah. Cloth hold.
Support
rubber.
That goes on the presser foot. And then the position finger for the Mark 8, that goes into the trimmer. How do you explain this? It's a little position finger that
I don't know what that is.
it's where the bobbin rotates.
Oh! I didn't know what it is.
It's that little.
It looks like
it's a little piece of metal in there.
Yeah, it looks like a little arm with
like a fork.
A fork, yeah.
Yeah. That one of those.
And they differ. They differ.
Your knives, your driving knives and your fixed knives.
Yeah.
And that's your driving knife is the one that moves.
Correct.
Your fixed knife is
stationary.
doesn't move. It sits there, and after a while they wear out. But these new knives last a whole lot longer than the Mark V's, so you shouldn't have to change those that much. And they're adjustable too. You can adjust the cut on them physically and in the automat. So I think that's pretty cool. And the needle depth jig, I've got one somewhere. I was looking for it. I thought it was in my little toolkit here.
Isn't it round?
It's round, and I got one of those. Earl gave me one.
Yeah.
What the needle, it goes in place where the bobbin case goes. And when you do your needle depth, you bring the needle down to where that needle, when you turn it, it barely touches that. And you can get perfect needle depth. Now, the nice thing about our machine is you set needle depth on number 1.
They're all done.
You don't have to set all 15 of them. But that depth gauge, you really need that to do it accurately.
That's just on the 8s, correct?
No, that's on everything. We've had that. Why
don't they put that on the 5s?
It should be on there.
It ain't.
You got the 5.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't know.
That's why I was like, why couldn't you use that on Mark 5? I mean, all it's doing is setting your needle depth.
I think there's a difference in the height between the presser foot.
So they're separate jigs?
There may not be. I don't know why it's not on there.
I don't know either. I just noticed it. That's why
maybe that's just something that Earl put on there.
That new, when you updated this one.
New.
Yeah, could be.
I assume the one that fits the 5 will fit this because it goes into the hook basket.
That's what I would think. And those aren't different.
No. I don't know. We'll have to check on that.
Yeah. I just saw it was on one and not the other.
Yeah. Well, I don't have the Mark 5 one.
Oh, you don't? Okay.
But
there's also a wave washer for the Mark 5.
Well, I know. Yeah, that's different too. That's what holds that holds that one screw on there that for the moving knife.
Mm-hmm.
That wave washer has to be set at a particular torque, so it can't move too freely and it can't bind up either. That's
makes sense.
No, I'm thinking about the Mark 7. Anyway, yeah, that little wave washer. If you put that knife on there without that wave washer, it ain't gonna cut. It's not gonna sew. It kind of puts that blade in the right.
Gives you enough spacing between the two.
Yeah, that's where it'll cut properly. But
that makes sense. Okay, yes, I will try to post these up. Maybe I'll do like a Google document or something I can share on the.
Yeah, put those up there.
Yeah, I'll do that.
Now we used to do a parts kit, but it made you buy some of these certain parts. Some people, some customers don't want to buy just a parts kit and get a lot of stuff that they probably don't use that much. By having the individual, you may use a lot more. Let's say needle bar drivers. Maybe you use more of those than you would anything else. If you had to buy a parts kit every time,
you're getting a lot of stuff.
Then you're getting a lot of stuff in there that you don't need. So, but these are just the recommended parts that we think you should keep with your machine. based on what we sell the most. And Earl too. Earl's like, well, if I were in embroidery, this is what I would buy. These are the things.
Yeah, and they're all pretty easy fixes. It's not like.
Yeah, this none of this stuff requires you to take your machine apart. Well, the needle bar driver is probably the hardest thing to replace, and the needle bar. Those are probably the two hardest things, and they're not that hard.
Yeah, it's still pretty simple.
If you've done it one time, if you ever do it one time, it's not that tough. It's, to me, the hardest thing is getting that faceplate off without unthreading the machine.
Yeah, that's the worst, and then having to
well, when we rebuilt those little 9-needle machines, remember, we ended up just taking them all out.
Yeah,
we just got aggravated and said, let's just take them out.
I do. I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, moving on. So we're going to go over the toolkit quickly, because some people ask, "Hey, what's in the toolkit?" I can't even tell you, but we're going to tell you.
We're going to tell you. We're going to show you. We're going to do
show and tell.
Show and tell.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to remember what
when you were in grade school.
School. Every machine comes with a toolkit that looks like this. This replaced the old blue toolkit.
I like the blue one.
I like the blue one too. I got some of those at home.
There's one right there sitting.
Yeah, there is. We went to this about 2 years ago. This is called a handy box.
It's called a tackle box.
Made in Japan. They call it a handy box.
Handy in Japan means fish.
Does it?
Nope.
Anyway.
It means certain things in certain places.
Some of the things you're going to get is I've had people ask me this a lot. What's that little wire?
Yeah.
You ever hear that?
Yeah.
People ask that. Well, we recommend, or the easiest way that
I'll tell you what I do.
We find to thread the machine.
It's called the Spider-Man.
What's that?
Shoot the canned air through it.
Oh, yeah. We use canned air. We get behind the machine, and we shoot the thread through, and it comes out the top of the tensioner. But if you don't have canned air, this wire...
If you take it out of that, you're never going to get it back
I'm not taking it out. This is the wire. It's in your toolkit. I have used these.
I've used it as a plumbing snake. I'm just kidding.
Oh, you could. It does work. It's the hardest part for me because I can't see.
It's just like threading a needle.
You got to thread that little hook on the end and pull through. And I can't tell how many times I've threaded it and got halfway through and the thing came out. You had to start all over again. But it does work. I have used a straw and got behind the machine and blown it through. I saw Sean Evans suck one through the front of the machine.
Yeah.
He will never live that down. He did it.
Yeah. Well, he sucks.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
So, anyway, if Sean Evans is ever in your shop and you need your machine rethreaded, he can suck them through there pretty quickly.
Yeah, you just say, "Hey, Sean, I heard you suck."
Yeah.
And he'll be like, "Understood."
Yeah.
Salute.
And he'll do it.
Straw in hand.
So, you're going to get a bottle of bearing oil. This will last a long time.
Yeah.
That's
It comes with the top.
a spout. It's got a spout.
Yeah. I like
that. You're going to get some of these things which are useless. These are metal bobbins.
That's the metal bobbins, yeah.
I don't know anybody in the United States that winds their own bobbins. But if you want to.
Or if you want to start.
There you go.
You got two. Isn't there two in there?
Yeah. Here's your throat plate adapter and your toolbox. You're going to get 10 1175 needles. These are Oregon needles.
Oregon.
A picture of a lady. Did you know this?
Mm-hmm.
It's a picture of a lady on an organ, playing an organ.
You never paid attention to that?
No. For sewing, knitting, and
Crochet.
felting.
Oh, felting.
Oh, these are the little dress up, the little plugs that go in on the CB3.
cards,
yeah, you won't get these in the. In
So
the
those
Excel.
are for that.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
they're
why
in
I
the
asked you where they
toolbox.
were.
Yeah, they were here, but the bolts aren't.
Because they're in it. Oh, you mean
I'm talking
in the?
about, yeah, they're-
I'm pretty sure they're in the container with the cart in the box with the cart.
Earl said they're in this, but they're not. I thought they were in the toolbox. This is the toolbox that came with that machine right there.
I don't know.
When we got this machine out of the crate in Atlantic City, I want to keep all this stuff together so it doesn't get lost. You have an oiler, and you're going to get a ginormous can of oil that lasts forever. These are good little oilers. I don't know why people don't use these. I like these oilers.
That's what's on all the videos. They use that oiler.
Yeah, they do in Japan all the time. It's called a jet oiler. We sell these. We sell these oilers, believe it or not. You're going to get.
If you buy one of those,
What do you call these?
what do I call them?
What do you call these?
An Allen wrench or a hex
Who's
wrench?
Who's Alan?
It's the name of the guy that invented those.
Okay.
His name was
Well, this guy's name was Osaka Tonko. That invented these.
Gesundheit.
No, that's the brand. You're going to get these. Some people call them hex keys.
Mm-hmm.
I call them Allen wrenches.
That's what I call them.
Yeah.
People say hex.
You're going to
key.
get a 2 through 8, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. You're not going to get 7.
7's the most. That's the one that's not used very often.
Do they make a 7?
Nope. I don't know if they do.
Yeah. Anyway, believe it or not, it doesn't take much to work on these machines, really.
No.
If you've got some screwdrivers, hex keys, Allen wrenches.
You bring that toolkit all the time, and
Well,
we only use.
Yeah, but if I don't
three
bring
things
it,
out of there.
then you have a Phillips screwdriver and a straight bladed screwdriver. I'm not nuts about these screwdrivers. I think they got these at Walmart.
That's a Harbor Freight special.
Here is.
That's the strangest flathead screwdriver I've ever seen. Isn't that odd shaped?
I think that fits the. I think you can change it. Can you change a needle with that? Maybe.
I don't think so.
Well, you get a needle screwdriver.
Yeah, the
little screwdriver here. You get
that
this.
thing.
I keep that in my toolkit.
Yeah.
This goes in here. If you want a longer spout, this
It's a
comes
spout
off.
extension.
Yeah, that's what it is. I don't know when they started putting those in there.
Learn something new every day.
You may need this for the top of that needle bar driver. Like
Getting in the side.
Yeah, you may may need it for that. I'm not sure. Anyway, that's what comes in the tool.
I bet you do. That looks pretty short.
It's not a lot, but it is some basic tools.
And the samples are in there. The little samples they sell.
Yeah, little samples are in there. And I'm going to show you a few things that I recommend too that I keep.
This is the
And you got this real fancy toolbox with Baird on it.
And you could put your tackle in there if you want to.
You could,
use
or
it
you
as
could you could use it as a lunchbox.
People see what you eat though.
Yeah, well, they see what you eat, but if you forgot what you brought for lunch, you could look through there and say, "Oh yeah, today I brought a sandwich of some sort."
You don't pack your own lunch anyway, so you wouldn't know.
That's true. I'd bring my lunch every day though.
You do.
Anyway, that comes with every machine. A few things that I like to carry with me. I've got my needle removal screwdriver. Handy little screwdriver. You need a little small one when you change needles. And this is a good one. I like this. And plus, it's orange. It's easy to find in your toolkit.
High vis.
I like these screwdrivers that...
Interchangeable.
You need a good screwdriver. If you're setting the hook timing, not every screwdriver will work in that slot. It's got an oddball slot in it, but I know this one will. This big one, there's 3 screws in the hook assembly. You have to rotate it if you're setting the hook timing and loosen those screws. And of course, when you set it, you have to tighten it back up. But I really like these. You can pick these up at Harbor Freight or wherever.
Interchangeable screwdriver.
Interchangeable screwdriver. I like them. 2 flats and 2 Phillips. Yeah. But this big one here, that's what you need for the hook. And I'll tell you, the first time you adjust a hook, the first time you break those loose, it's hard. But once you get them broken loose, you got it. I carry some more hex key, Allen wrenches. I carry a pair of snips, needle nose pliers. These are good for straightening out your presser foot if you bend something.
We've done that a few times.
Yeah, we have. My needle ease.
Yeah.
Carry that.
I love that thing.
It's good. I carry these. I'm not sure if I've ever used these,
Those are
but
forceps.
if you need to pluck your eyebrows, maybe.
What is the purpose that you would have those?
I've seen people use these to thread a needle.
That's what I was going to say, but
Yeah.
you don't do that.
I don't. I don't know if you ever. I don't know if you drop something. I don't know.
You can't.
I don't
You
know.
don't have hands.
I've never used them. I don't know why I carry them, but I do. I carry. This goes to. Is it this one? It goes to. Yes, I can't remember what size this is. This goes to the bolts on the carts. That's one thing that doesn't come in the toolkit. That put the cart together.
The ones on the.
See if that goes in there.
I think it is.
I think it does.
Nope. Yeah.
Yeah. This does not come in the toolkit. I think this is a.
Should be that one right there.
No.
One in the middle.
Oh, maybe that's where it goes.
It's a number 8.
Did that fit it?
Yeah. Isn't that 8?
It is an 8. It is an 8.
Very
Fits
good.
the bolt. Okay. What I see? I said scissors. I carry some of these little wrenches for, I don't know, little
Wrenching.
hex bolts, some needles. 10 millimeter to open a crate. Always carry that. Anyway, those you don't have to have those. Oiler. But I can make just about any adjustment on that machine with these tools right here.
Yeah, it doesn't take
The other
much.
thing, this isn't used as much since we've gone to the Mark 8 trimmers because you can use the screws aren't on the top of the throat plate. They're on the side.
Yeah.
But these things are cool right here. This is a little bitty ratchet system.
I should have brought mine over.
You got a
Chapman tool.
you got a good one.
Thanks
But
to
this is
Sam.
good too. Thomas Cena, we were talking to a while ago, gave me this. But anyway, to get those 2 screws out of on the Mark V trimmers, it is 2 screws in the throat plate, and you can put a bit in here, you can get the screws out instead of sitting there and just barely turning it.
Yep.
The thing about the Allen wrenches, what that is, you can only go like a quarter of a turn. It takes forever to get them out. This thing right here, you can zip them out really quickly.
Yeah,
So,
it's called a Chapman tool. It's a
I've used this a lot.
Yeah.
I really, really like this. I would, if I lost this, which is, I think I've dropped it a few times.
Yeah, it's seen better days.
Yeah. The tool's good. The
Case, not so
case
much.
is not very good. So, I tell you, I think I told you this. Maybe I didn't. I was coming back from L.A. from the Long Beach. That goes in there. I was coming back from L.A. at the Long Beach show about 4 years ago. And I went to the airport, I had my suitcase, I had my backpack, and I always put this in my suitcase because you're not supposed to fly with tools.
Right. You can take the plane apart.
I had forgotten I left this in my backpack and went to security.
Oh, man.
And the guy took my bag off the conveyor. This your bag, sir? Yes. I immediately knew what he was after. He said, there's something in there we need to look at. I'm like, it's my toolkit. And so he goes over there and he pulls this out and he opens it up. And I said, I was really ticked off. Not at him. I wasn't mad at the guy. He's just doing his job.
As you should not have been.
I should not have taken it. I know the rules, but I'd forgotten. We were at the show and we took the show down, and I was using my tools. Oh, I keep a crescent wrench on there too that fits those
Yeah, that's back in your bag.
feet. Yeah, but anyway, I was just ticked at myself, and I'm like, because there's a couple things in there that are really hard to replace. One of them is that jig for the needle bar depth. I had one of those in there, and I can get this stuff, but this was in there, and I'm like, that was the biggest thing, and a couple other things in there that I didn't want. And I've had this stuff for years. I've had this for a long time. And he said, "What's this for?" And I said, "Look," I'm sorry. I said, I screwed up. I said, that is to work on embroidery machines, and I said there's some specialized tools in there. He said, he kind of looked around. He said, "Go ahead."
Oh, snap!
Yeah. I said, "Man, if I'd had a $50 bill, I'd have given it to that guy."
He no longer works there.
I had a $50 bill, but I wasn't. No, I mean, I don't know who that guy was, but he did me a solid.
For sure.
He did. And ever since, I'm just paranoid over, because there's a lot of places that I've had three knives confiscated.
Don't get me started on that.
At the airport, because I've forgotten.
Man.
And look, this thing has snips and a pair of scissors in it, and I'm like,
you're on a list somewhere.
I'm on a no-fly list probably, or maybe not a no-fly list, but there's probably a red alert on me when I show up at the airport. When I drive to the parking deck, they probably say, "Here he comes."
Yeah.
Check his bag.
Check his bag.
So,
I can't believe you got. I would have never got. It doesn't matter what kind of day anybody's having. I wouldn't have made it through security.
I was shocked. I was shocked I got through there. And I told him, I said, I really appreciate that. I said, because some of these tools are specialized. And I told him, and look, if he would have taken them, he had every right to. I would not have been mad at him, and I wasn't the least bit mad at him. I was really ticked at myself. Now, I mean, I didn't have an attitude with him. I just told him, I said, "Buddy, I'm sorry." I said, "I know better than that." I said, "I travel all the time." And I said, they were supposed to go in my suitcase. And he looked at them and picked them up and looked at them, and he's like, he zipped it up. He said, "Just go on." Kept going.
I usually turn the dogs loose on me at the airport.
Yeah.
Never fails.
But anyway, those are the spare parts that we recommend that you should keep. And if you've got some other spare parts that you think, we
feel
should
free
add
to
on this
add
list,
to the list or put it in the comments.
Put them on the list. We'd like to know.
What else you got on there?
That's all of that.
What's that?
Oh, we want.
We're good.
We want to show a new product that was just sent.
Was that the
to
last
us.
thing on there? I can't read your handwriting.
Yeah, my handwriting's good.
I just can't see it.
Oh, it's very legible.
Okay, yeah.
We did the spare parts
you got
list toolkit with the machine.
I couldn't read the third one.
Other miscellaneous tools and the new hat. New hats.
The new hat. The new hat from an old company.
Yeah, we were at Atlantic City in March, and I can't think of John's last name, but I think he's the head honcho with Yupong in the U.S., and he came over to the booth and said, "I want to show you guys the new hat we have now. It's a flex fit hat. It is a taller profile hat similar to a Richardson's. They have a Richardson's type hat like this with the mesh on the back, like what Brandon's wearing. Also,
I had that on yesterday. That exact hat.
Now that's a snapback, right? Mm-hmm. From Yupong.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Because this is a flex fit.
Yeah, the flex fit NU or new.
New.
An icon reborn.
They just came out with this. Now, as everybody knows, it doesn't matter what type of embroidery machine you have. Richardsons are hard to sew. They're just very hard to sew. And the reason they're hard to sew, they have a very, very thick seam that embroidery machines don't like. The best thing I can tell you when you're trying to sew a Richardson's hat is, you want to use a bigger needle, an 80.
That's what they use, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they use. That's what Richardson uses. You want to slow your machine down a little bit. You want to make sure that the design is digitized really well, maybe with some extra underlay to push that panel down. That's what Richardson's recommends, and that's what we recommend. So, Yupong at the show asked me, he said, "Hey, would you guys like to try some of these hats? They're designed to be easier on an embroidery machine." He actually had a little display there with a Richardson hat. And Richardson's our customers. I love Richardson hats. Everybody does. I don't wear them. They don't fit my little peanut head.
You could wear 115.
Yeah, I probably should get some. But I'm also bald, and I like to keep. I don't want to get a tan that looks like I've been with my head against the screen door.
Oh, you're talking about just the mesh?
Yeah,
in the back?
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But your brother wears them. And
I've never
he's
thought
bald.
about that.
He doesn't either.
I guess, yeah.
His head's okay.
I've never thought about the fact that my head could get sunburned if I didn't have hair through the mesh.
It hurts.
No doubt.
A sunburned head, there's two things on your body when they get sunburned. They really hurt. Get your mind out of the gutter. Feet. Top of your feet are so painful.
That was my first guess. My head was not
Second,
in the gutter. Top of your head.
Noggin. And especially you get in the shower, it feels like 1,000 needles are attacking your cranium.
Bees, 1,000 bees.
Tough. I don't want to do it. Anyway, where was I?
You talking about the hat, Richardson's?
Yeah, if you can't get Richardson's, or if you want another alternative, you go on their website.
Plus, these are a flex fit. There's not a Richardson flex fit.
Right. I think they patented the flex fit.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not a thing.
We got these yesterday. Was it yesterday or day before?
That was yesterday.
It was yesterday. They came in.
Immediately threw it on the machine.
Immediately threw it on the machine, and sewed this design. Never broke a thread, not one thread.
And it looks very good.
It looks really good. This particular hat has Brandon and I were talking about this yesterday. It's got a tighter weave, into twill, which makes the small lettering stand out a little bit better than what we've been using. Nothing wrong with what we've been using. We use Otto provides us with caps free of charge. I'll put a plug in for them. I love Otto caps, love Richardson's, love Yupong. There's some really great caps out there. But if you're having problem with Richardson caps, sewing them, or you just don't want to go through the frustration,
or if you can't get them,
that
was a problem for a while.
They've been hard to get. Go to Yupong's website. Look at the Flex Fit New. Look at their mesh back snapback cap, which also has this technology, which this is a lot softer, but still is rigid. Has that crown built into it like the Richardson does. Give them a shot.
That snapback that they have, I've got several.
Is that a pretty good hat?
I love it. Yeah. And I love Richardson's too. I mean, it's 90% of what's on my head is a Richardson. I don't even know what I got on my head today. That's a Richardson 112. So.
Yeah, I like. I prefer the 47 brands, which is another one of our customers.
Yeah, I've got plenty of those.
Just the reason that I like them, they fit my head better.
Yeah, you like the Richardson. They also make
the Richardson sits on my head like this.
Yeah, but that's why this is hat talk.
Yeah,
that's why a 115's a lower profile than a 112. 112's a taller hat.
I've got a couple. I bought a Richardson last year at the beach when we went fishing.
Yeah, from the marina.
From the marina, and it fits me good. I like that hat.
You never wear it?
I do around the house. I just wear it. It's an indoor hat.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't wear it out. I don't want to get dirty.
Understood.
But anyway, me and hats. I love hats. I have
somebody. Just speaking of hats, somebody almost stole that hat at the Charlotte show. They thought that we had sewed it and tried to take it as a sample, and I had to go get it.
Really?
Yeah.
I really like this hat.
I know.
That's my I remember. That's my North Carolina hat.
Yeah.
Your mother got that for me.
I had to go chase him down.
Our customer over in Bailey, North Carolina, sews these. Your customer.
Mm-hmm.
He sews all. This came out of Our State magazine.
That's I'm gonna forget the name.
Image Makers.
Nope. Dang it.
Anyway, that came off of Barrington. Your mother got that for me. I love this. I love this hat. Showing my North Kakalaki pride. But anyway, we're going to try to get him on the podcast, John, with Yupong, and let him talk about these a little bit and the technology that goes behind it, because we don't know how he does it. It's some kind of magic sauce, unicorn
magic sauce.
blood, whatever.
Image designs.
Golly,
Pete.
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of image of this. I mean, it's so hard.
We have so many customers, and especially in North and South Carolina,
that are
use
image. Yep.
You got one in Spartanburg.
Yeah.
We talked about yesterday.
There's
image.
There's something. Entire image.
Yes.
Image designs, image works.
Images for you.
It is
new image.
It is no offense that I can't remember the name. It's very hard to remember.
But I was really impressed with the way. Number one, it hooped up. I've never been a big fan of flex fit caps because
Well, they're
not
so
that
stretchy.
they're hard to hoop, but you have to be really careful not to pull that too tight.
Yep.
And I just pulled it tight enough to get the wrinkles out of it. And because I told you, I said, it sewed the front
It's a piece of cake. It's the sides that you got to be like.
fantastically.
Don't overstretch the sides.
But I was afraid that I had stretched this too much. But I really like this cap. I'm very impressed with it. And like I said, we're going to try to get John on here and do an interview with him, and let him push these caps a little bit, or just tell you guys about them, what makes them different from everybody else's caps.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, I really like them. He sent us 24. I'm going to do some more testing on it, but you'll probably see some of these at shows. Probably at Fort Worth. I'm probably going to sew some there, but I like them. I really do. The embroidery really pops on them.
Yeah, I'm not a huge flex fit person. I like a snapback. Like a fitted hat, I maybe have one. I used to have a lot when I was a younger person. I just don't buy them anymore.
Yeah, I prefer unstructured, just because they're always low profile and they fit my little peanut head better.
You got your head. It's
tiny.
It's shocking.
It is tiny.
It's disturbing.
To have such a big brain and such a small,
It's debatable.
Small encasement.
Yeah, you should have like a glass jar outside of your head that your brain sits in. It's so big.
You would think I'd get a lot of headaches with my brain putting pressure on my cranium,
Yeah,
but I don't.
that's miraculous.
Clean living. That's all I can say. Plenty of coffee.
Lots of coffee and clean living.
Clean living and cornbread.
All right, anything else to cover?
That's a T-shirt.
What's that? Clean what?
Coffee, cornbread, and clean living.
That probably is.
That's my retirement.
Well, you might want to trademark it before we put this out. Now that's something you see on like a housewife's on top of their stove. They always have like it's wine o'clock or whatever,
Yeah, probably so. Yeah. Somebody's probably already done it anyway.
I'm sure. All right, so we took a space in between dropping this episode.
Yeah.
Because we're going to be out of town, but yeah, we'll be back on track hopefully after this one. You got anything coming up?
No, I'm just trying to think.
I am too. As I said that, I was
you
like,
got some. I got some travel coming up too. I'm just trying to think where all I'm going.
I think I'll be here. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Anyway, thanks for hanging in there with us because I know it's very intermittent.
Yeah, it is. It's hard for us to. We were on a schedule for a while, but I'm just telling you, it's business has been good. Thank goodness for that. And just it seems like something always comes up.
Mm-hmm.
We've been trying to get some more guests. They're not always able to do it when we can do it, but we'll get there. We enjoy doing this. We're not going to stop.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and hopefully, keep leaving recommendations for guests.
Yeah, please do that.
We'll try to do it as best that we can.
Yeah. Sometimes we get in a little bit of a rut is trying to figure out what we want to do.
Yeah. Plus, we want to make it entertaining at least.
Entertaining and something that you can use. And number one is something. If anything, hopefully you can get something from this podcast that you can take and use. But leave some comments. We really enjoy the comments. Good, bad, whatever.
Yeah, and only one of us reads them, so.
No, that's not true. I read them.
I'm just kidding.
My memory's not very good.
Yeah, it's all that big brain you got.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, we'll get out of here. See you guys on the next one. Make sure you go like, subscribe, and share. And
go Rockers.
Let's go Rockers.
Go Rockers. Let's go Rockers. What's their mascot's name?
Hype.
I hate that name.
Yeah, that's not my favorite. I like the horse. He's a rock.
Oh,
he's
a
horse, or
yeah,
like a
he's
rocking horse. But his name is Hype, which it's a beautiful horse.
He's very British.
Bushy tail,
he's very
big
very
teeth.
He's very friendly. He's a friendly horse.
Well, man, no.
He dissed you.
Yeah, last game. Put
Did
the
you?
old knuckles out. Didn't even raise a hoof. I don't think he could see me. I was in his periphery.
Probably couldn't.
Yeah.
You got to think.
Could have his blinders on. Horses
He's
tend to
probably
wear
old
blinders.
too.
Yeah.
I think horses lose their vision at an early age.
But you think though their eyes are kind of on the side of their head.
They
think
are.
they'll be able to see.
And if you're directly in front, like a bird. You could look at a bird right in the beak. He can't see it. He can't see you. But you get to the side of him, man, he's going to win. He's going to
pick you out every time.
He's going to win you.
Anyway,
he'll throw a wing.
I'll settle my beef with that horse next week.
Well, usually he likes to take pictures with people.
Mm-hmm.
I need to get a picture taken. We need to get a picture taken with him.
I have one.
Not me and you.
Oh, me and you? Okay. Maybe we can get that. We'll put it on the podcast.
Yeah, put it on the podcast.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe we can get hype on the podcast.
He doesn't speak.
No, he just would be nay.
Yeah.
Nay. All right.
Okie doke.
Enough of
Horse
that.
talk.
Veterinary talk with Brandon and Bob.
Yeah. All right. We'll see you guys on
Thanks,
the next
guys.
one.
Thanks for watching.
Appreciate you. Adios.